We're here at the church on this beautiful winter day. All the trees are frosted. It's quite cold outside, but it's so beautiful. This is what winter ought to be like. We're going to work on attaching that stairwell, the scaffold of the stairwell to the clock tower. This being the clock tower with the entrance here. And this being the scaffold. So there are two people here now who are specialists in the field, and we're trying to figure out a solution to attach it to the tower. That'll work and not put extra stress or undue stress on the masonry of the tower, and also provide some sort of support to the scaffold, sort of unite the two. But it's difficult because this is not standard construction. This is medieval construction, and it's not exact. Yeah. And it's not as easy as it sounds. Perhaps I should explain a little more about what I'm doing here, right? Because I've been posting videos about my work here, but I haven't really. See, that's the fortified church behind me there, in Magarei or Pelishor here in the county of Sibiu. So why am I here? Why am I working on this church? I'm not sure I made that quite clear in the past. It's because we care about these Saxon monuments, my wife and I. And we formed an NGO about a year and a couple months ago, specifically for the purpose of restoring and conserving these historic buildings. And we took over the care of this fortified church and of the parochial house, which is going to be right there. So this is what we're doing here. We've been working for the last year and a half or so, even before we signed the contract, which is a long-term lease on the place to take care of it and to restore it. We've been working here exactly on this kind of stuff that I've been posting videos about. Fixing it up, restoring it, conserving it, all with traditional materials. Well, for the carpentry and the masonry and the roof work and all of that, obviously we're going to introduce modern elements into the mix, like with the electrical installations, which are modern and built specifically to be safe and to not start a fire. And with the water and the plumbing installations, which are modern. There were no water and plumbing installations here, so particularly at the parochial house, we've been working quite a lot on doing that. But the work is slow because, for one thing, we want to be able to control the quality of the work that happens. And for another, there are very few workmen that can actually do this kind of work. And they're either very busy or very expensive. So then it becomes sort of a game of, okay, how much can we afford to spend, and what can we do now, and what can we do later? But it's an interesting kind of work, and it's something that appeals to our hearts, both mine and my wife's. So that's why we're here, working on this stuff. And the workmen, the specialists that are working on the scaffold are up there now. If you hear those sounds, they're drilling a hole through one of the posts so they can put a metal rod that attaches it to the tower. So they're doing that work now. And oh yeah, you can see that box over there. That's part of the new electrical installation that we put in into the house here. And I think either from that box or from a separate box, we're going to put some current that goes up to the to the fortress, because currently we have no electricity there. So if you look and see, we've been running a wire. See that wire snaking on the ground and going up the stairs? That's coming from the house to power the tools that we're using over there now. But you can see how beautiful this is, right? It's a storybook, really. Just gorgeous, particularly on this frosty winter day. It's absolutely fantastic. And so when we came here, we thought with our hearts, not with our wallets. And because if we sat down on a spreadsheet to calculate all the costs and the various expenses that we have here, we might not have gone into it. But we said, you know what, it doesn't matter what it costs, we're gonna go into it and do this kind of work because we love this place. And that's why we're here. So yeah, we've managed all right. We're gonna continue to manage all right. The work is happening, and it's fun. So the work's done. It didn't take long. It's just we did like half of it today because the rest of it we've got to wait till spring to do. I'm going to show you in just a bit what we did, or rather what the people did, because I just sat by and watched this time. Like I said, I'm going to let the people who are knowledgeable work on the stuff. That's their expertise. I can't do everything, and I have to. I'm not going to get involved where I'm not sure what I need to do. I don't want to, screw something up. So yeah. And this is the entrance to the church. We're getting back to the discussion that we had before. This is the entrance to the church. You've probably seen me post photos of it, but this is it. I've got the key somewhere sitting by, so I'm not going to go in right now, but I'll probably make another video where I go in. It's a beautiful Gothic door. You see, with a nice Gothic arch. That's wonderful. The blue paint is actually traditional. It's a traditional Saxon color. This is ochre blue, if ochre is the right term for it. And yeah, this is the church here, so you can see it behind me. And that's the fortified wall back there. There. And that used to be a double fortified wall with 2 towers, one on each side, but they fell down. So yeah, let me show you another view of the structure. So this is it. This is what we worked on this December, and so you can see how the slope of the roof is quite steep, and that's why I didn't feel quite comfortable walking on top of it. And so we began laying the roof tiles from the top, going to the bottom, instead of doing it the normal way, which is going from the bottom to the top. Yeah. So today we affixed that scaffold to the tower with a metal rod, and we need to do another one at some point in the future, probably in early spring. But in order to do that, we're going to need to take off a few rows of the roof tiles at the top. Otherwise, we can't get access to that transverse piece, that horizontal piece that ties the structure together at the top. That's where we're going to put the second rod. Yeah. So this is the courtyard of the church. You see, all Saxon fortified churches are like this. Well, typically like this, right? You've got the church, and then you've got a fortified wall and various other structures that surround it. And this is where the Saxons would retreat in case of invasions, in a place like this. And this is a communal structure. This was a structure built by the villagers themselves in order to help them protect themselves. You see, we've got a surplus military tent over there that we set up this summer, where we've got some oak that's been set inside it, and we also used it for other purposes this summer to sort of help guard us from the sun as we worked. Yeah, and this is where one of the towers used to be. It fell down, you see. And the fortified wall started over there. So we've got the outer wall, And then we also had the inner fortified wall that came out this way. And then there were all sorts of structures here. Various annexes for various purposes. And this is where the other tower was that fell down. These were quite tall. Not as tall as the clock tower, which is fairly tall. Quite tall actually for a village's size. But quite tall actually, these ones as well. So, and then there was a fourth tower, which is around the corner. Here, I'll take you. I'll take you around the corner and show you. And that one was the smallest one. It was only about maybe 6 or 7 meters tall. So, that's where it used to be. They were right there. This is the back of the church. Yeah. Beautiful winter day, as you can see. And we've got all this frosting, courtesy of Mr. Jack Frost. It's quite beautiful. So we affixed this pillar to the clock tower with that metal rod, a threaded metal rod, 16 millimeter diameter rod, and that's a specially made squared nut that you see over there. We made it at a metal shop just because it looks better than the typical hexagonal nuts that you see in shops these days. So that pillar or post is affixed very well with a rod that goes through the wall to the inside, and we still need to work on this other side, and the problem here is a bit different because here this post veers a little too close to the edge of the wall, you see, and because it's so thick, if we were to drill a hole over there to tighten it, it would actually go into the side wall, because the side wall is this thick, and it wouldn't work. So we've got to figure out a different solution, but we're going to wait till spring for that. It's we did the emergency stuff now. You see, you can see the rod a little better now. That's a piece of oak right there that you see that sits between the post and the wall for better tightening. It's the proper distance that keeps this this post upright and level, because the wall itself isn't true or isn't vertically level. It's not at 90 degrees to the ground. The wall is actually sloping, as are all medieval walls. They go a bit that way from all directions. So they can be thicker at the bottom and thinner at the top, and it just works out better that way for typical masonry. It's not like a modern concrete structure that you can make true and square all the way up from the ground. So this is how this works, and in order to keep the proper distance between the scaffolding here and the wall, we needed to put that spacer in there. I hope I'm not being too obvious in my explanations. I mean, I don't know what your knowledge level is when you're watching these videos, and I don't want to overwhelm you with technical stuff, but I also want to help you understand what's going on, you know, and the stuff that you see. Okay, thanks for watching. Till next time.